Welcome back. It's been a while since I put out a video. I have been extremely busy. I know I've said that many times. I have to say that this eBay thing has really took off. I said that I only wanted it to be a hobby and I'm trying to, just a part-time thing. I did not expect for it to blow up like it did. I mean, I'm new, so I absolutely did not think that I would have as many sales as I did, and I'm still, frazzled with trying to organize my place with these items and the boxes and all that stuff. I have all the shipping down. That took a little while to get, what is the best shipping and all that nonsense. But besides that, yeah, it has been hopping. And it probably is because it's Christmas time, is what I'm thinking. So I have no idea what it's going to do after Christmas. No idea at all. But again, this was just a side thing, just a little hobby to get rid of some of the things that I already had. And then, I said I like going to estate sales and finding vintage stuff, and then some things because I just thought they were cute. And I thought, why not? I'll go ahead and do this thing. But yeah, it has really, really took off. And I have been scrambling to try to get stuff shipped. That's not the fun part. The fun part is actually finding the stuff, going out looking, resourcing. But the shipping for me has been difficult. I said I downgraded or downsized, not downgraded. I downsized my home when I bought this place. So I just don't have it. I guess I would have the room if I would organize things, but I just don't have everything organized. And I think I'm going to recruit, because I'm doing it all on my own, I'm going to recruit my sister's help um, to help me do that, because I do work full time. So it does make it difficult. And I've said it many times before, I'm not a spring chicken. I'm going to be 53 in January. So, but yeah, it is going wonderful. And I really wanted to show some of the items, and I wanted to do some of the games and the giveaways and all that stuff before Christmas. But a lot of things have been put on the back burner because I've just been really, really busy. And I just don't know how to, I guess I know how. It's just I haven't been able to, I don't know, juggle my time. It's the holidays. We've already went past Thanksgiving. And now we have Christmas coming up, and, decorating and just, work has been crazy. So I don't know. A lot of the things that I said I wanted to do has been put on the back burner. I wanted to go live by now. I wanted to go on panels by now. But everything's going to be on, it's on the back burner. So what, I'm setting another goal. I know I already did that once before, but my new goal is to go live after the first. And then maybe do some of the game nights to get away from the drama. Giveaways. Giveaways are for everybody. Uh, you know, don't want to get into that legal, I don't really want to say it's legal, but whatever, with YouTube. Um, and just, show some of the stuff that I have in the store, or that I'm going to be putting in the store. Some of the things, some of the, that I look for. Not all is vintage. Some stuff is clothing. You already seen some of the purses and stuff like that. I have found some vintage when I was out over the summer, and I didn't show these, but I did find some vintage purses, and they really, really sold quick and for good profit. So, anyways, moving on from that, like I said, a lot of things are being put on the back burner, and I still haven't set my, to be monetized. I am going to do that. I haven't put no PayPals or anything up. I'll probably do that after the first of the year. I don't know. Who knows? I probably will. But we'll just see. So that's just kind of my, what's going on in my life, right? So we're going to move along. And I have to say that I am not catching everything that is going on in this drama circle. I'm not catching a lot of videos. You don't see me, and you haven't seen me much in chats and, live videos. I'm not lucky enough, I've said this many times, I'm not lucky enough to catch a lot of live videos, but when I do, I normally can't stay long. I'm in and out. But I try to go here and there and listen so that, I can talk about behaviors. That's part of what I do. That's on my About section, that I'm interested in behaviors on social media. I've said that before too, because some people want to think that I'm judging. Well, that's part of what, I guess you can call me judging, but that's part of what I was interested in when I started my channel, I'm sorry, almost a year ago. I think on the 10th, it'll be a year. And I still haven't went live yet, right? I'm still doing pre-recorded videos. But that's what I was interested in, was the behaviors. And I'm going to tell you something. And this is the truth. This is the God's honest truth. When I was in the Watts groups, okay, not only was I interested because of the way people were acting, grown adults acting in these groups. That was what started me on this journey. The way they were talking to other, strangers. They were actually, because people were using, they were using alts too, but a lot of people were using their real Facebook profile, and people started digging, going after people's jobs and stuff like that. And I'm just like, I can't believe all of this over true crime, right? Because I never was in any other true crime groups or followed cases like this before. But when I was in these Watts groups, these women, mostly women in these groups, even said the Watts case, some of them, there were some women, and this is the God's honest truth, that their marriage suffered. A few of them actually got a divorce or separated over the Watts case, because they were on social media, they were in these groups so much that it hurt their marriage. They spent so much time in these groups, going from group to group on social media. They were doing bizarre things. There was quite a few women that were actually, and they were like proud of it. They were asking their husbands to literally choke them, okay? Not to K them, but to put that pressure to see what it would feel like. And they proudly would say this in the groups. And their husbands thought they were out of their mind. But they were spending all this time, and some of them even said their jobs were affected, the ones that were working outside of the home. Some of them even said that their family life was affected. Some of them missed their children's extracurricular activities so that they could get on and be involved in these groups. That's insane. That is why I was really, really interested in the social media behavior. Because how can you let strangers affect you this much that it affects your real life, right? people that you're never, ever going to meet. And these women would admit to it, and some of them actually proudly admit to the Watts case and the group basically taking over their lives. That they were so caught up in it that they lived and breathed for the groups. They couldn't wait to log on and see what was going on. And, you know, they basically ignored everything else. That's the truth. And a lot of you all that were in all these different Watts groups, you know that it's true because you've seen it. I'm sure you did. You've seen the comments. And then a lot of the people that were connected to some of the bigger groups were connected to the creators. After, you know, if they were mods or if they were real close to them, after they got away from them, they came out with their stories that, you know, these people, they sucked them in and, you know, they would tell them some things about their personal life, and they felt like they couldn't get out because they were threatened that personal information would get out there, and some of it did. So they got sucked in to bully people, to dig on people, to go, you know, go real life, to harass, you know, both sides of this family. And when they got away from that creator in the different groups, or got away from the group itself, you seen a different person. Their demeanor changed. Okay? We're going to talk about this in a little bit. But they changed. It's like they changed back to who they actually were. Not this mean bully. It's that need to belong. They got sucked in to these groups. So anyways, this video will probably be long because I'm going to cover quite a bit, and I am off today, so I do have some things to ship out today, and I have to make sure they get out today because today's the day that it says it's going to ship, and I'm just doing much needed laundry and cleaning around the house, and, you know, all the stuff that needs to be done. But I just wanted to give a little bit of a backstory that, like I said, some of you all that were in these Watts groups, you know, you've seen some of the same people. They were just like always on. If you would go back and look, day and night, and they claim to have families, you know, spouses and stuff like that, and then they would come out and say, you know, that this affected their family life, and some of them literally got divorced. At least that's what they said. So anyways, moving on about what I wanted to talk about here. I have been making community posts. Now, most of my community posts that I make is at night. That is when I get a chance to, when I do want to listen to videos, I've already said this many times, is at night. Or if I am making dinner and I got my phone, I put it down and I listen. So I have been making community posts. Now, just because, you know, I haven't made a video and I don't know what's going on all the time, I will listen to snidbits here and there, you know, in different, you know, communities, and hear a little bit. Doesn't mean I'm out of the loop completely. Still out of the loop, but not completely on what's been going on. And I wanted to do a video before now. I know channels have went down. There was this phone call that was out there, right? And I was going to make a video talking all about that, but it's like, I just haven't had the time. And I'm like, you know, everybody was already talking about it, covering it. I'm going to try to briefly go over my thoughts about it. In my opinion, okay, I'm going to do a lot of in my opinions. But we'll do some facts as well. But I already said in another video that I thought Mama Knows Best, she changed. I think that quite a few people have changed because of the company they keep on where they went. Now, I said it before that I think that again, in my opinion, there's three different big communities here. And even though a lot of people want to say, I know Natasha's other channel went down, people want to say, well, Natasha's not supposed to be here. She's not allowed to be here. Well, she's still on YouTube, okay? No matter what anybody wants to say, it's ban evading, okay? It is. But she's still on YouTube, so you have Natasha's community, then you have Granny's Watching's community, and now you have Lycan's community. He came, what, a little less than a year ago over in this drama circle. He's been on YouTube for a while, but into this drama circle. So you have all these other creators too. But if you don't like Granny, if you don't like Natasha, then it seems like everybody flocks over there because you have nowhere else to go, right? You have nowhere else to go. Everybody bands together eventually. You might say, nope, I'll never do it. I'm never going to because my morals won't allow me to for what was said and done. But that's where you end up. That's a fact. Okay? Because a lot of people that said they would never, ever do that, they have. That's where they sit right now. Now, like I said, you have all these other creators, and I don't want to take away from these creators because they're their own people. But like I said, you either like Natasha and her community, or Granny and her community, or Lycan and his community. Now, you have some outside people as well that are just kind of neutral. They might do clip channels, or they just might call out some things. They're kind of neutral. But that's pretty much a fact if you look around, okay? If you want to be honest with yourself, that's pretty much a fact. Now, everybody is grown. They can go wherever they want. You do see a lot of hate bonding, absolutely. People want to call out others for hate bonding when they're sitting hate bonding themselves because they had a issue, they had a breakup with their creator, and they went a run into their creator's enemy, and that's where they sit. But they want to call other people out because they might have, I don't know, chatted a little bit in someone else's chat, or they might have stuck up for them because something, dirty was done to them. Not that they're friends. Or, maybe they become friends with somebody again. Maybe they call a truce and say, you know what? Let's put our differences aside and let's be friends. But it's okay for these other people to do it. But if anybody else does it, nope, they're hate bonded. They're hate bonded. See, it's always good for one, but not for the other. You see a lot of hate bonding going on. A lot. There's some dirty, dirty people in this drama circle, okay, that have went real life. There's proof of it that tell horrible lies, proof of it. Some of them even admit to it, that they did it, all right? And they talk about the most disgusting things. They literally bully, okay? There's a difference between clapback and bully. And I'm sorry if you don't know what the difference is. I don't know what to tell you. Ask your children. Ask your children what bullying is if you don't know the difference. Or your grandchildren. Because they probably know. And maybe they can teach you a little bit. But back to Gold Star Mom, I'm sorry. We're going to talk about her in a second. But Mama Knows Best, I seen a difference in her. And I don't think that, in my opinion again, I don't think what we've seen lately, after she got to that 1K, is who she actually is. That's my opinion. Because we've seen her talking. Yes, she blew that Christmas wish list thing, in my opinion, again, out of proportion. I know she was hurt. Okay. I don't know if she went to other creators and tried to get help from them after Natasha paid for her whole Christmas, because, well, I don't want to say whole Christmas, but fulfilled her wish list, because Natasha did. And I did say that it was wrong for Natasha to call her out, because that was to be anonymous, right? It was. And I don't know the reason why Natasha called her out. I don't remember. But it doesn't matter. She should have never called her out by name and said that she was getting help for Christmas. But even after Mama Knows Best was out of that community, Natasha kept her word and she supplied that wish list. Now, I do remember this, that Mama Knows Best said that these children, that she did have custody of these children, and now she's saying she doesn't. So, I mean, pick one. This is where I'm talking about lies. Some of us do remember some of the things that happened. And that I do remember, because I was thinking, that's pretty shitty of Natasha, because here's Natasha took on someone else's child, right? And Mama Knows Best is taking on other people's children that aren't her. I mean, they're blood related, but they're not her own, that she gave birth to. And she's doing the best she can, and she needed help at Christmas time. A lot of people struggle at Christmas. We know that. And she did say that these children were in her care. And now she's saying that that's not true, that they're not in her care. They weren't in her care. So which is it? Pick a struggle. Okay? But besides that, I know that this really hurt her. And when she did her lives, she talked about it a lot. I think, again, in my opinion, that Mama Knows Best is a sensitive person. But she decided to align herself with certain people. Again, the company you keep. She started to become the company she kept. Now, she wanted to go on the attack of Natasha. Natasha has called her out quite a few times. I do not agree with body shaming, bullying, making fun of, none of that stuff, all right? And Natasha would make fun of her hair and her voice and stuff like that. Now, Mama Knows Best has every right to clap back. Absolutely. But Mama Knows Best went further, even further. She streamed her every time Natasha went live. Streamed her. All of Mama Knows Best content was Natasha and streaming her videos. And she sat up there with Voices and Boots Mama, and in my opinion, they took over her entire channel. I mean, should we have called it Boots Mama Knows Best? After Voices threw Mama Knows Best under the bus here, we'll talk about that in a minute too. But Mama Knows Best said that, we did nothing but banter back and forth. No, honey. Natasha would mention you once in a while after you kept doing this over and over and over. But you streamed her. You would go live every single time she did and talk about everything, every aspect of what she was doing. All the way down to one time, because I was listening here and there, replays. And one time you even said something about her adult children rolling in mud. Go roll in mud. Her daughter was pregnant at the time. You did say that. And now, basically, your panel guests are the ones that did a lot of the bullying, but you allowed it. And you did go on with it. You called Natasha names. Called her fat a lot. And this was on a nightly. And talked about her money continuously. Now, I'm not talking about just the 20K. That's a total different story. I'm talking about the PayPals, Cash Apps, whatever. Every creator can put up their wish list, their PayPals, Cash Apps. They all have that, and I think a lot of them do. I think Mama Knows Best did too. But that's okay, right? That's okay to do. It's okay for everybody else to do it. The only difference is Natasha was given hers funny names, and she talked about it a lot. Do I agree? And I even made videos. I did not agree on how. I thought it was manipulation on how she did it. But the thing is, if her community wanted to donate, if they wanted to do a baby shower and pay for that baby shower, if they want to give her money until the cows come home, that's their business. Not yours. Not your community's, not mine. I talked about how I thought it was manipulation and maybe some, and I do lose my train of thought, excuse me, how I thought it was some, oh Lord, reverse psychology. There it is. I tell you, that Topamax, we're going to talk about that here in a minute too, yeah. Going on. But see, her community is not stupid either. All right? People are like, oh, everybody's dumb in all these different communities. If they wanted to give freely, they could give freely. No one was holding a gun to anybody's head. I still didn't like the method, but you know what? You can't hate the player, you got to hate the game, right? So that's all the content was. And then when you were celebrating her other channel going down, I guess your channel went down at the same, while you were celebrating. Now, I don't know if these other channels will come up. Have no clue. I don't know what y'all are doing about that. And Natasha, I guess, her and her some of her people are behind it because she did admit to it. I don't know. And a lot of people are saying it's unfair. It's unfair. It's right before Christmas. And I know Mama Knows Best. I seen a comment where she said I was counting on that money for Christmas. And it's sad. I don't like to see anybody's channel go down. But when you're not doing your own content and all you're doing is bashing, I said that you turned into a bully. You only and it was okay. I think Mama Knows Best said I treat everybody the same. I treat everybody with respect on how I wanted to be treated, except Natasha. So Natasha's not a human, so right? So she should not have, her and her family shouldn't be treated with respect, because you're sitting with somebody that threw you under the bus, that wished her daughter pain, that wished her unborn grandchild didn't exist. Now, if this same person, I don't know if you have sons or daughters, I mean, you have grandchildren, but if this same person wished that on your daughter or your son's partner or wife, would you be sitting with them? If they wished that your grandchildren didn't exist, would you be sitting with them? Don't think so. But since they did it to someone you didn't like, it's okay, right? It's okay. So we're going to move along from that, okay? Now, I know Voices threw her under the bus over this phone call. We're going to talk about this phone call. Now, this phone call had to do with Kim Crafton. And some people were blaming Mama Knows Best. And in my opinion, again, why is it Mama Knows Best's fault? Because she didn't mute it? Didn't mute this thing? Well, I'm sorry. That's on Voices, right? That's on Voices. Why didn't she mute it? She's the one that took the call. Or she called. I'm not sure which. I think she took the call. It was up to her to make sure she wasn't on a live stream and that everybody could hear it. But I don't know if Mama Knows Best is friends with Voices again or not, but the last that I heard or seen is that Voices threw her under the bus. And basically, you know, they weren't friends anymore. It's Mama Knows Best's fault. She should have muted it. And nobody would have heard this. Sometimes people need to take responsibility for their own actions. We're grown adults, right? Own up to it. I don't think, this is just, again, my opinion, I don't think this was a setup. I think, I don't know. Could be, could not be. Maybe Voices did think that she was muted. But then things are a little fishy. Because it sounds like Crafton was on speaker. That he wasn't at one point, and then he was on speaker. And then the little part about this shouldn't be played on YouTube, or shouldn't be out on YouTube, or whatever. I mean, that's a little fishy. Why would that even be said? I have no idea. It could have meant something totally different. See, we're not hearing the full conversation. We're not hearing both sides of the conversation. So it could have meant something else. So I'm just going to say, I'm going to give her the benefit of the doubt and say it was not a setup. It was an oops moment that I forgot to mute, the mic. But now we're going to talk about Kim and Crafton, because this narrative that's going around, I'm not buying it for a minute. I bought the first one. I even did a video about it because my son suffers from epilepsy since he was 6, and I did a video. My second ex, okay, he also had seizures. His was drug-induced seizures, okay? They thought that it could be epilepsy and stuff, but see, he was an addict. And he passed away. I already stated that in a different video. Yes, I've had 2 exes to pass away. Don't look good on me, does it? Well, I had, I was divorced from them. And one was unaliving. I did a video back in March in front of my kids. And the other one, he was an addict. And that's why I divorced him, because I tried to help him. And after 8 years and doing so much, you can only do so much before it becomes a danger. And it was a danger to my children to have this around my children. So anyways. So I wanted to do a video, and I said before that I think I said before, I'm not even sure. Yes, I do, because it's been a while since I did a video. I did not know or see all of Crafton's charges. Because, see, I don't dig into people. This was put out by Natasha, but I don't listen to everything. And I only heard a few things. I did not see the stuff until recently, before I talked about it, I think, on my one video. And after I heard all those charges, it's like, there's no way. And yes, I did speak to my son's neurologist and a few others, okay? Didn't say this had anything to do with YouTube or any names or anything. I just asked a case scenario. And absolutely not. Absolutely not could this have happened the way that they are saying that it went down, right? And I gave the reasons why. The muscle control isn't there. The faculties isn't there, because when you have a grand mal seizure, right, your whole brain, the whole brain has misfired. There is no way. Now, you can kick like my ex did to the officer when he came out of that deep sleep and he's on the gurney. You could be verbal and say some really raunchy things like my son did that one time, and start punching at the air and doing stuff like that because he was confused. He came out of that deep sleep. He doesn't know what happened. You don't know what you're doing when you're having a seizure, right? But no way can you get up and just walk out and just grab a weapon, right? And hold it up to somebody and just walk out fine. And all this other stuff. There's a lot of charges on there. Absolutely cannot happen. Can't. That's kind of like saying that and I know this isn't, you can't put the two together. And I'm not trying to do that. I'm not trying to say Crafton is a bank robber, okay? So don't, people like to twist things, right? They do. So I'm not saying that he's a bank robber at all for you people in the back. But that's like saying, I went and I robbed a bank because I had a seizure, right? And I didn't know what I was doing afterwards because I just woke up and I was confused and I had a medical emergency. So I went, a couple of blocks over to the gas station, or I went even next door to the gas station, and I held a weapon up to the cashier. See, it doesn't make sense. Again, if it doesn't make sense, it's because normally it's not true. I don't regret doing the video that I did way back because I still think it's important that people know that some things can happen after these seizures. And there's some nurses in that community, in that lump community. They say, well, there's different types of seizures. Yeah, we know that. But you also know that this is almost impossible. Well, not almost, it is impossible. But that need to belong, right? That need to belong, and you like who you like, you're going to stick with that narrative, even though you know it's bullshit. Now, people want to say, well, it was domestic violence. No matter any way you want to look at it, it was DV on Kim, okay? And I even said that in my one video, and they thanked me for doing the video. Well, Crafton did. Thanked me for doing the video to point out, how seizures, how this works, how it can work. And I said in that video when I did it that no matter what, Kim is still a victim. And she had every right to call the police, no matter, if it's a medical emergency or not. She has every right to protect herself. And she was the victim. Now, I don't know anything about if Kim is an aggressor towards Crafton too or not. I mean, there's rumors going around about that. That's none of my business. Well, I don't want to say it's none of my business because we should all stand up against domestic violence. And if anybody's in crisis, we should reach out a hand and help them. But if they don't want any help, if they are praising the person that's abusing them, and if they want to give a narrative that this is not what you guys are thinking, and I'm standing behind my man no matter what, and you guys should praise him, you guys should like him, there's nothing you can do. Absolutely nothing. Real friends would say, hey, this story does not sound right, okay? And we love you and we don't want you to be in this situation. The story just does not sound right. Now, Crafton has current charges that he's got to face. Don't know what the outcome is of that, and that is his business, but they brought it over to YouTube, right? They're the ones that brought it over because Kim didn't have to say anything, and people might not have dug, but they knew that something was just not right. But she did make a community post, and on that community post, people were freaking out. Even Natasha, that's how, because I was listening to one of her lives, and she's the one that brought it to everybody's attention. She stopped her live and said, hey guys, something awful has happened to Crafton, and even asked people to pray that prayed and read the community post. I even did a little snippet video about Mrs. P because she was still dragging Kim and Crafton, and in my opinion, for no reason. Okay, because Kim and Crafton did supply her Christmas last Christmas. All right. So a lot of people, even people that did not like Kim and Crafton, were reaching out with support because, yes, that community post made us think that Crafton was doing very poorly in the hospital. Okay, that he might never regain function again. That he was possibly in a coma. I don't think the words coma was used. I haven't looked at the community post in ages, but very close to it, that he was just completely out. They did not know if he would regain anything. Now, as someone that has a child that has epilepsy, right, I know how serious they could be. And I'm sure a lot of you out there that deal with this, either yourself, your children, people around you, you know that they could be serious. And not just physically, if they hit themselves, hurt themselves, you know, it could be serious. Now, another thing that I heard, and I don't know if this is true or not, is that he hasn't had a seizure before this for years and years. I don't know if that's true. I didn't know that when I did my video way back talking about the seizures and coming out and all that good stuff. But yes, we were all made to believe that he was not doing good at all. At all. Not that he was arrested. Not that he did what he did. None of that. Now, I can understand if it happened the way, you know, which is impossible. But if it happened that way, why Kim wouldn't want that to be out? Absolutely. I'm a domestic violence survivor of 15 years. I know how embarrassing it was. I know the lies that I would tell my coworkers, my family and friends for a while, you know, about the bruises. But I never praised the man, ever. I never pushed him down other people's throats. Now, women are different that are in domestic violence situations. I have to say that, okay? I have to put that out there. Women are different. Some women are so in love with their abusers that they will praise them. They will blame themselves. It's my fault. I did this or did that wrong. It's absolutely my fault. They feel that they can't survive without their abuser financially. A lot of them have children. What am I going to do? My kids need their father. I don't want a broken home. All of these scenarios. Remember, I said in one of my other videos that even though I had my own home, I bought my own home. It was in my name only. I took my children to a shelter to keep us safe while my ex stayed in my house. We were married, so I guess it would be it was marital property. Anyways, even though it was only in my name. But we stayed in the shelter. So I got to talk to a lot of these women. And then after I got out and left and all this stuff, I did a lot of volunteer work with these women. And like I said, every woman is different. And a lot of them were so in love. Totally different from me. I was not in love with this man. Okay? I wanted out. But he was a stalker. And it took me so long to finally get away from him. I did a video way back on that. Now, I put little snippets of my life out there. I think some people put way too much out there on their personal lives. I put a little snippet, and maybe one day I will do a video from my struggles on childhood to adulthood. Maybe, maybe not. People might not care or be interested, but I might do it. Because you can go from being a victim to a survivor. Absolutely. But back to Kim and Crafton. Kim does not give off the vibe to me as a weak woman. Okay? And I do believe that she said that she was in a situation before in the past. Kim works. I don't think Crafton does. I don't know. He does this channel. I don't believe he works outside of the home. I could be wrong about that. But she works, and I think she has a degree. And yeah, she does talk over him a lot. Okay, we see that. Sometimes Crafton has a hard time getting a word in edgewise. She does not seem to be like a weak woman to me. All right, they don't have any children together. So my guess is she is totally in love with this man. And that is great. That is great. What is not okay is things were found out. Again, I don't agree with digging into people's personal information, but things were found out the first time about the charges. So a narrative had to come up, okay? A narrative. Because Kim's not going to leave Crafton, no. So something had to, we got to come up with a story. A believable story. And he had a head injury. That is absolutely true. We know that. And a lot of people felt bad and felt sorry for both, for this situation. So now we had the second situation come up, right? And we heard that phone call. Now it's getting, in my opinion, twisted into something it's not, to make people feel bad, to make people go after some other creators. I don't take lightly to domestic violence or unliving. I've already talked about my ex-husband. He did it in front of my children. He caused some mental issues. I already stated that in my other video. I'm not going to go over that. But you can imagine when someone does that in front of you, especially your own father, right? I've had a good friend of mine a year ago last summer that did this in his vehicle. He was on Facebook Live saying he was going to do it. Now, he's somebody that would talk about it a lot, and so did my ex-husband. Never in a million years did I think they were going to do it. Now, my friend did not do it on Facebook Live. He turned it off before he did it. But all of us that were seeing it and were saying, no, we were calling him and calling the police. We weren't on, I don't know, Facebook and sitting there chatting with each other or whatever. No. He was in distress, and that video is still on his Facebook. It has never been taken down. So that's what we see when we look at his Facebook. And I do go there once in a while. I tried calling him. His daughter was in that chat, that live. He wasn't looking down at his phone to see how many people were reaching out to him. We were on the phone trying to call him. Of course, he wasn't answering. We were calling the police. I had a couple of my friends come over to my house. We weren't worried about going on a live for an hour. We're gonna back this up a little bit, but we weren't worried about all that. We weren't joking around with each other. We were trying to get help to our friend that was in crisis, even though, like I said, never in a million years, because he had a lot of demons. And he talked about unliving quite a bit. And what do they say? Those that talk about it all the time, they're only seeking attention. They won't do it. It's the ones that don't talk about it you got to worry about. That's not always the case. So we still took it seriously. We weren't joking and laughing with each other and saying, you know what, he's just wanting attention or whatever. No, 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 no. We didn't do that. We took it very seriously. And the police were able to find where he was at by pinging his phone. And it was too late. But this call, right? This call, apparently, at least Voices knew this situation an hour beforehand. This is what is really fishy. Twisting a narrative or twisting the truth to fit a narrative. What is the lies and what is the truth to fit a narrative? This call, she states, I don't want anybody going to jail, and I don't want anybody laying their hands on each other, and I don't want anybody taking pills. Now, I don't know what the pills mean, but let's listen to that. I don't want anybody laying hands on each other. I don't want anybody going to jail. And then she says some other things, and I can't quote it. I don't have it here in front of me. Something about, I care about you both, or something about you both, all right? And then we hear Crafton. Like I said, it sounds like he's on a speakerphone. Didn't hear that before. There doesn't seem, he's like, it was about YouTube. When she said, I don't want this out on YouTube. Or this shouldn't be played on YouTube, and you hear him say, what? What's being played? Now, that phone call to me, and to a lot of people except, their community, sounds like that's a DV situation. That you got a couple that's arguing, right? A couple that is arguing. And according to Voices, she knew about this, later on, about an hour before. But she's on a live cutting up, and they're making fun of Natasha. But later on, because Granny played it, and Natasha played this clip, right? And they played it over and over again. They did. It turned into, no, that wasn't about DV. That was about Kim wanting to self-harm. And how dare you do this at my weakest moment and make fun of it? How dare you? Was it truth or lies to fit a narrative? And people might say, to me, because, again, I stand against making fun of DV and making fun of, someone that is trying to unlive themselves or at a low point. I'm also against twisting lies, twisting the truth, making it into a lie to fit a narrative, to have people go after others, right? We heard that call. Crafton acted like he did not even know what was going on. Now, if your partner's at their lowest point where they want to self-harm, would you sound like that? Would you sound like that? Like you didn't know what was going on? I think I would be sounding desperate. I know how I was sounding for a friend. I know how my friends were sounding for our friend. We were desperate to find him. We were desperate to get him help. We were crying. Not like, what are you talking about? Huh? Seriously? And then Voices, this is where she came in and said she knew that there was an issue an hour before. If your friend is telling you, right? If they're telling you an hour before that, hey, I'm at my darkest moment and I'm wanting to maybe self-harm, why in God's name would you go ahead and get on someone else's panel and bash another creator and talk about them and laugh and have a good old time instead of being on the phone with your friend that entire hour and try to seek them help. Makes no damn sense, right? No sense. Another thing that makes no sense. Why, if your partner is at their lowest moment, would you reach out to YouTubers that you never met, you don't know them, from Adam, just on YouTube, instead of reaching out to a mobile crisis, to real life friends, if you have any, to family members, to somebody that you can actually really trust? The real person you should be reaching out to is medical professionals to make sure nothing happens to your loved one. Not call some, quote, nurses on YouTube that are in your community. What are they going to do? What are they going to do for somebody that is wanting to self-harm? What are they going to do besides trying to talk to them? If somebody is that low and they want to do harm and they say, I'm going to do harm, sometimes talking isn't going to help. They need to get help immediately, right? Immediately. And we hear the call, well, or we hear some clips, I'm sorry. Well, can you get a hold of this person? Have you got a hold of that person? No, we can't get, really? No urgency. And then later on we hear Kim on a different video. She called it her S attempt. Yeah, I heard that. Her S attempt. If it was an attempt, that means you tried it. Not that you thought about it. Not that, it crossed your mind that you were at a low point or whatever. That you attempted it. And you wouldn't have been back on, because she was back on pretty quick, bashing other people. That was a quick recovery, right? Quick recovery. Bashing other people. She literally called it her S attempt to pull at those heartstrings. Especially of those that have attempted or thought about it or lost a loved one that did do this. That's a slap in the face. That's my opinion. It's a slap in the face. Now, people are out there saying, but it doesn't matter if it was a DV or if it was an unlive or whatever. These clips shouldn't have been played. Granny played it, Natasha played it, and they played it over and over at her darkest moments. You shouldn't be okay with that. Personally, I'm not okay with it. Okay? I'm not. Now, these other two ladies, what did Kim and Crafton do to both of them? Over and over and over again right before this. Granny, they dug into her real life, right? Her past, and put it all out there right before this. Her criminal past. Granny already put out what she did, but see, they were digging further and digging further. They were talking about her restitution, what she did and didn't pay. They were putting out that, her parents' house had to be on the line. Parking tickets. I mean, they were really digging in. Going after her, going real life. I'm sorry, but when you dig into somebody, look at court records and do all that nonsense, that's going real life. But for you supporters over there, that's okay, right? It's okay to do. So, of course, when Granny heard this clip, she's going to play it. Okay? Because it makes no sense. It makes no sense. And with Natasha, they have been playing over and over and over, back videos before they started with Granny. Instead of just making content of your own, right? Clap back. Go ahead and clap back. But when you're doing this crap night after night after night after night, or day after day, or whatever, morning, whatever, they were calling Granny a tweaker, that she's tweaking. Basically, they were saying that she was on drugs. They were saying all this horse crap, okay? Now, if she was on all this, she wouldn't have been able to get off of probation. They knew about her criminal background. When they were friends, they were talking about this revenge porn, about, I just cannot believe she sent me this picture. This is what really irritates the crap out of me. They knew about Granny's past. They knew what she did, exactly what she did. They were okay with it when they were friends with her. Absolutely. They knew all about Granny. She has made it no secret what she did and how, you know, when she was getting off of probation and all that stuff. Now, she had to have kept her nose clean to get off of probation. She would have had to have paid her restitution up and paid it like it was supposed to be paid, or they wouldn't have let her off of probation. But see, Kim and Crafton want to sit there and say, no, that's not, we know better. We know better. Sometimes court records aren't all updated, just saying. But see, they like to dig into people's personal stuff and drag it up. And then I guess, you know, Granny had some parking tickets. So they made their own narrative up, their own storyline on why she got those parking tickets, where, you know, what happened. Because they were there and they know. They know. I mean, parking tickets, come on, guys. I mean, I've never had one. Thank God I've never had a ticket. Should I have had a speeding ticket before? Absolutely. I'm not an angel. I have went over the speed limit before. I just never had a ticket. Never got pulled over. I've never had a parking ticket. I've gotten very lucky. But you're telling me you're going to sit there and drag somebody for a parking ticket. I think because she said something about, said something about on her live, you know, if you want to donate or whatever for this ticket or whatever. Like I said, communities can ask for whatever they want to ask for. Right? They can. If you're putting content out there, you are doing your channel or whatever, you can drop your PayPal, you can drop your Cash App, you could do whatever. And if your community supports you, then have at it. But they were doing all this real life crap. And then this happened, this phone call that everybody heard, and they expect that the people they're doing real life and lies about isn't going to pick that up and call it out and say something. Now, if it was reversed, you all know, even, you know, you supporters of Kim and Crafton know that it would have been used. Absolutely. Some of you want to sit there and say, oh, no, we wouldn't have used it. We wouldn't have used it. You liars. Yes, you would have. Because you guys use people's addictions. That's pretty serious. You use mental health. You talk about people's lady bits. And I know some people have talked about men's private parts, which I've already called that out. Another thing with Kevin Crafton, and then we're going to move on. They are so appalled about Lycan's pic being sent to them. Oh my gosh, it's revenge porn. Something legal has to be done about this, guys. Now, this is something I'm against too. All right. And I called it out already. I already said the picture shouldn't have been sent to anybody. You know, no matter how it was sent, Granny put out, and she kind of showed it, and it made sense. You know, she was talking about her daughter, and this picture went through, and, you know, I'm not even going to rehash that. But the thing is, if Kim and Crafton were so against that picture, why did they, A, not say, oh, Granny, no, that picture, that is wrong, honey. That's wrong. Get rid of that. You just sent me that picture. No. That's revenge porn. Do you not know that? That's revenge porn. No, they didn't say that, did they? They kept a hold of it. Why did they do that? They didn't delete it. No, they kept a hold of it for a reason. Because that's what some people do. They know there's going to be a fallout at some point. Always is. So they keep personal information on hand to use for a later date. In case they have a falling out with you. Right? Why didn't they delete that? If it was so disgusting and so horrible. And then, I don't know, I seen it in chat, Kim made fun of the fungus. Right? The fungus. She participated in that. Absolutely. But they sit all over there and they say, you know, we'll never ever, you know, we're not gonna join Lycan and stuff. You guys think we are? We're not. Guess where they sit? Again, you can go wherever you want to go, but that's hate bonding. Okay, sorry. Again, you twist that narrative to fit something, twist the truth to make it into something it's not. And I don't take kindly to, like I said, to domestic violence or to unliving. But Kim has pushed Crafton down our throats. All right? That he's this great man. And he's got a lot of women that support him because of a narrative that Kim is putting out there. And now she's putting out that this last call, she tried to, you know, hurt herself. But yet, she gets right up there immediately and starts bashing. When people that care about her, you know, real friends, would have told her, if this was true, would have told her, honey, you need to log off for your own mental health. Don't worry about this drama. Or her partner that loves her so much, log off, take a week off. YouTube is not more important than your mental health. Take a while off, reflect. Calm down. Don't let all this get to you. Whatever's happening in maybe her real life or YouTube or whatever, maybe all this is too much. And this toxic circle is just going to make it worse. Don't worry about Granny. Don't worry about Natasha. Don't worry about all these other haters. Your mental health is more important. Yeah, this is what her partner would have been telling her. Not, hey, let's go on this panel and let's go on this live and let's drag this person and that person. Again, if it doesn't make sense, it's normally because it's not true. Right? Common sense people tell you that a lot of this nonsense was not true. And the thing that angers some people is, like I said, Crafton is being pushed this false narrative, right? And not only that, he's being enabled, in my opinion, by Kim to abuse other women on social media. He's already got charges of abuse, all right? And he's on social media abusing other women. That's my take on it. That is why there's some outrage. That's why I feel like why I'm angry about it. Can't really say angry, why I feel like it's disgusting. When you allow somebody to, you just keep digging into their stuff. And so they want to be mad at Granny, they want to be mad at Natasha, but it's okay for them to do what they did before all this happened, right? It's okay. We can dig, they can dig all they want and pull up personal information. That's okay, because we don't like Natasha and we don't like Granny. So let them dig. But if you dare talk about anything that accidentally got out, then oh no, oh my gosh, it's the end of the world. Why would you do that? Give me a break. Okay, so moving on from that. Now we're going to talk about Noodle Mash. And we're going to lump this together because this video is going on for a while and I do have to get on to the stuff that I have to do today. I said that, I did a community post and I said that I seen a mask slipping, and I had one comment, I'm not calling anybody out, but one comment said, well, what did you think about Granny's live on what she said about, this or that? Well, for one, I didn't watch Granny's live. I guess she had a live yesterday. I didn't watch it. I only talk about what I see and what I hear. I don't spend 24/7 on social media or on YouTube. I don't have the time for it. And again, I've said this before. Some people say, well, why do you even talk about behaviors and stuff like that if you don't have time for it? Because I can. That's what I do in my channel. And I know that sounds mean, but I don't want to be on here all the time. I do have a real life. I do have a real job, and then I'm doing this side stuff, right? I have real friends. I have family. I have a house to keep up. So I'm not on here all the time. I don't know what goes on all the time or behind the scenes. I've already stated before, I have called out Granny on some things. I have called out Natasha. I have stuck up for Granny. I have stuck up for Natasha. I have called out Lycan. I have stuck up for Lycan. I have stuck up for Noodle Mash. I have called out Mrs. P. I have stuck up for Tiffany. I did a video and I stuck up for the nasty things that Mrs. P said about Tiffany. I mean, come on, people. I can't be on here 24/7. I wouldn't want to be, because then I would probably need a counselor for some mental health issues. And I'm not making fun of mental health issues. I'm just saying it would drag me down. I wouldn't want to be. And we weren't talking about Granny. We were talking about a live that I actually listened to while I was making dinner. I had my phone sitting down and I listened to the live. And the thing that stood out for me, okay, and I'm going to start from the beginning. I'm going to start from the beginning when I say this. Mrs. P absolutely doxed Noodle. Wrong. I will stand behind that until I'm blue in the face. And a lot of these things that I'm going to say, I stand behind it. Because, see, I'm not a flip-flopper like a lot of you guys, right? Because you have a beef with somebody, so you flop to the other side. I'm not a flip-flopper because I don't have to be loyal to anybody. I don't belong to a community. I like a lot of different people. A lot of them are in different communities. So I stand behind that. She was doxxed. She was lied about. All right. Noodle Mash has been harassed. I've seen it. Just like Mrs. P has been harassed. I've seen that. Now, some more things have came to light with not Noodle Mash, I'm sorry, with Mrs. P's diagnosis that I didn't see before. And I have a little more understanding on Mrs. P, but that still does not give an excuse to do some horrible things. Some creators have chose to mainly ignore Mrs. P. When she has put out horrible things about them, she absolutely has horrible things about them. They might clap back a little bit, just a little, here and there, but for the most part, they just kind of ignore. All right? They've never let her back in their community, and they just kind of ignore. But with Noodle, she did put out her apartment. I don't think she put out her full address, but she still doxed her. She put up some nasty stuff. Now, she has been going at Natasha a lot harder than she did Noodle. Now, she doesn't know Natasha's address, but, you know, she went after Natasha hardcore. And Natasha did, you know, after she would go after Natasha for a long period of time, Natasha would clap back at her, and in my opinion, went too far. But now Natasha said, you know, after I actually read her DNA testing, I kind of, I get it now. It's still not an excuse, because I still will stand behind this. In my opinion, this drama circle is not healthy for Mrs. P. It's not. But I do understand her diagnosis better now. I absolutely do. Okay? I still stand behind Noodle Mash. I seen that video. I am not going to go back on that video that I witnessed with my own eyes and my own ears, where Mrs. P put out that Noodle Mash is the one person that never bullied her in high school. That when she introduced her to her husband, she said, this is the one person that never bullied me in high school. That's a fact, guys. It was out there. I'm shocked that nobody clipped that or got a hold of it, because it is out there somewhere. Well, it's all deleted now, so I guess not, if nobody ever got that. I am shocked. I'm not going to go back on that, because I seen it and heard it with my own eyes and my own ears. And I see the text. If Noodle Mash, in my opinion, bullied Mrs. P, not the text, but the Facebook messages, I don't believe that Mrs. P would be talking to Noodle Mash the way she did on Facebook. I do not believe that Noodle Mash went into that office and said what Mrs. P said she said. I don't believe that for a minute. I stick to that. Okay? It makes no sense. And again, if it makes no sense, it's normally not true. You would think a new tenant that moves in, and it's an office, right? And she says this to a tenant that's already there. The manager's going to kind of side-eye that, all right? Right? Makes no sense. We know that Mrs. P lied about the time frame of living there, and she's still she's still sticking with that story, or still did, that it was so many years, and we know that's not true. I stick behind all that. With that being said, I still think it went too far. Now, Noodle Mash has been talking about this. It's been, what, almost a month now? Continuously. And a lot of other creators or supporters made it sound like that Mrs. P could not talk about it, say anything, or do whatever, that she'd be thrown in jail, and that these other people were protected under Noodle Mash's order. Because the way that they were making it sound was that if anybody else spoke up or said anything or whatever, that it was a harassment, a third-party harassment, which is a bunch of BS. That's not how it works. Now, I get that Noodle Mash has some harassments. I've seen it. I've seen the memes. Okay, those are gross. I've also seen the people she sits with make memes of Mrs. P. The memes hurt, right? They're uncalled for. In my opinion, childish. But the people that Noodle sits with are the king and queens of memes that hurts other people. Like I said, the company you keep. I'm against bullying only if it's not done to me. Well, I might have said that wrong. I'm against bullying if it's done to me. I'm against it if it's done against people that I'm in this community. If it's done against them, I'm against it. If it's done against other people that I don't like, or other people, well, I can't help what people do. That, you know, I'm a part of this community. I can't control what they do. Well, I understand that. But if you participate, you might not bully yourself, but if you are a part of that community, and you go from this panel to that panel to this panel to that panel, and you make it known that you're in that community and you are friends with all them people, then you're part of the problem. Because they absolutely do bully others. They do the same thing that people are doing to you. It's hurtful. They lie. Downright lie. Some dangerous lies, too. Yeah. They make memes. They have doxed. They have dug and went real life. Okay? But, again, I can't help. I don't agree with what other creators, you know, what all they do, and they know this. I don't agree with everything they say. I get that. There's people that I like. I don't agree with everything that they do because I don't like body shaming. I absolutely don't. I think that's childish. You'll never, ever hear me do that. Ever. I can kind of get sometimes why people will stoop to that level if other people are doing it to them and then they clap back and do it back. But, you know, if someone does that to me, I'm still not going to stoop to that level and do it to them. I say that now, but when I go live, I don't know. Because, you know, sometimes I get a temper too. We'll see. I don't know. You can never say never, right? But that's not the normal me. I don't do that. I think it's gross. And I've seen some nasty things being said about Noodle Mash. I would never call her anything but Noodle Mash because that's what she goes by on this platform. Just like Lycan. I would never call him anything but Lycan because that's what he goes by on this platform. I would never call Natasha anything but Natasha because that's what she goes by on this platform. I would never call Granny anything but Granny or Jessica because that's what she goes by on this platform. Country Joe, I would never call Country Joe anything but Country Joe or CJ because that's what she goes by. The other creators, Pesky, I would not call her anything. I think she only goes by Pesky. I know what her real name is now, but I don't know if she wants to be called that. Some of the other creators, the DeLorean, that's the only thing I would ever call her is the DeLorean. Okay? So to call these people by other different names, I don't agree with that. So I get what Noodle is saying there. But some of this other stuff, and we're going to get into it. We're going to get into it. That's going too low. And I said it before. If you're okay with that, then you're part of the problem. Okay? We have voices. Voices wished harm on a pregnant woman. That has nothing to do with YouTube. But see, you don't like her mother. Don't like her mother. She wished them to split from split to splat. Think about that. For all of you that have children out there, even if you don't. Okay? She wished her to have gestational diabetes. And the child to not exist. And then she put up a picture making fun of the grandchild, right? This is what the baby's going to look like in a couple of years. She has to keep taking jabs at that baby. And then going after Hannah school, saying she's going to. Now, she hasn't. She said she hasn't yet. Over a dumbass cookbook that she made up. And I guess her community, Natasha's community, bought a cookbook that she made up. I don't know. Like her college is going to give a shit about that. I mean, come on. I cook a lot of things, different things that I think nobody's ever thought of before. I just mix stuff together. But I'm sure if I Googled it or whatever, somebody else has made the same thing before. Okay? But she literally is going after, or said, not going, said she's going to go after and has been threatening it, okay? A young girl who's ready to graduate college, get her life going, and try to destroy her college. For what? Because she doesn't like her mama. So you're okay with that, right? You're okay with that. That's who we sit with. Now, you might say again, no, I don't agree with... Now, if you sit with them and you consider them your friends, would you, in real life, have a friend that acted and did this stuff? Would you hang out with them? I know I wouldn't. If I had a friend in real life that was wishing harm on another human, especially being pregnant, and their unborn child, I'd say, see ya. Because something's wrong with you upstairs to make your mind go there. Right? If one of my friends was mad at somebody's mother, so they wanted to go after their young daughter and ruin their college education just because, I would say, see ya. Again, something's wrong upstairs for you to want to attack someone's child. But that's who we're going to sit with because, you know, they support me. They financially support me, maybe. So that's okay. She just lied recently about Granny, right? She said Granny was arrested twice. Arrested. Did she say it was for theft? I believe she did. Over the summer. And people were like, oh my gosh, oh my gosh. And then they said, because I think Granny did a video on her shopping at the dollar store or something. Yeah, people were believing this. Yeah, Noodle. She lied. You know, Mrs. P lied on you, right? Right? I know she did some serious lies because she said that you said in your video that she wanted you to or that you said you wanted her deceased and that you were going to go harm her children or her child. She did say that. I heard that. That's awful. And that's the truth. Mrs. P did say that. And you didn't say that. Absolutely did not. But you have you have voices here saying that Granny got arrested, right? Over the summer, twice. Again, Granny would have not got off of probation. She'd be sitting in prison. Because you can, Granny already put it out there. I'm not putting it out there. She already said she had felonies. So if she would have done this again, she wouldn't have got a slap on the wrist. Oh no, she would be sitting in prison. And then voices said, again, I think she's copying Kim, copying that narrative that Kim put out there about, using her father's house. And that her father, her parents' house, and basically, her parents are stuck with this bill or going to lose her house, or however she wanted to put out there. So Granny went live and did a live and showed her proof that I was not arrested. Here it is. You would see, and plus, again, I wouldn't be off of probation. And then, of course, you have her in a comment section later on after Granny did this live, and she says, I think it was in Likens, I'm not sure. She said she played right into my hand, and of course Lycan thought, that was funny. She played right into my hand. Literally saying she lied about it. I mean, that's literally what she's saying. She played right into my hand. So she lied. That's okay, right? Other people can lie about other people you don't like as long as they're not lying about you. You're okay with that. That's who you sit with. So now we have voices and Kim and Crafton, saying and doing horrific things and lying big time. That's okay. Now, the thing that really floored me, okay, when I was listening to Noodles live last night, was she was talking about Granny. She was talking about the harassment, and she has every right to address when people are harassing. In my opinion, this is just my opinion. Every time she does a live, it's going to keep getting worse. I did kind of look today, and I seen some people say they were going to stop talking about Mrs. Portland and Noodle Mash. And sometimes when you keep talking about it, you're feeding the fire, right? But what she said is that Granny, now, I don't know if she has said something about Granny first or Granny said something about her first, to begin with. In my opinion, Noodle didn't like Granny beforehand because of Natasha. All right? That's my opinion. But who knows? She has her own reasons. You can like who you want to like. But she made the comment that Granny does not like her because, and I'm not going to say this word for word, because she's with Lycan. She's in Lycan's community. And she didn't get the deed done before the deed was done or whatever. So basically what she's saying, and she could say that I'm twisting this. No. Other people caught it too. When you're not getting the deed done, okay, we know what that means. Basically, Granny and Lycan didn't hook up. So Granny's mad about that. And that's why she's mad at Lycan. All right. And all this nonsense. Now, I'm not in Granny's head. I don't know how she was feeling when they first had the breakup or whatever. I don't know. But I can tell you what I seen unfold, Noodle, and you know it too because you've seen it. You were in Natasha's group. You know it. You know this when it happened. Lycan put out a lie, a big nasty lie, okay? I'm sure you're okay with this too because it didn't happen to you. Now, y'all want to talk about Granny and this picture and her talking about his fungus, which I don't agree with. I don't agree with talking about a man's parts either. All right? I don't agree with that. And I've said that many, many times on my videos. But Lycan put out a lie. He put out a lie that Granny sent him a picture of her hoo-ha, and I've said this in a video way back, and that it looked like, and he described it, okay, which I'm not going to get into, but it looked like she needed to go see her gynecologist ASAP. Like I said, he described it. So creators went on and made content about it forever. And some of them are still doing that. So Granny, okay, could you imagine if someone did that to you too, Noodle? If somebody said that you sent them a picture of, you know, your lady bits and that it looked like this, and then you had all these creators making content about your, you know, lady bits, right? Believing it. They believed it. So only until he called her and she recorded that call. Now, it might have been illegal. I don't know. In my state, it's not, but I guess it is hers. But she recorded it. I would have done the same thing. And she got out of him that it was a lie. He said, what did he say, guys? We all heard it. He goes, oh, about that. Because she's like, you know, the lies you're telling about me or whatever. And he's like, what lies or whatever? And she's like, that I sent you a picture of my vag. And he's like, oh, well, that was just shit talk. So now he twisted around, right? Twist it. That, you know, it was always just shit talk. No. He didn't come clean with that until he was called out by Granny. When she let everybody listen to that. Right? Big nasty lie. And then he puts up, before he was called out about that, he puts up, I mean, Natasha did she did content off that too. People are still doing content. I mean, the DeLorean's been doing it. Lufa was doing it. We'll get to Lufa here in a minute because I know you're upset about Lufa making community posts about you. But then he put a picture up saying, this is what Jessica Lynn looks like, showing a picture that he cropped, photoshopped, whatever he did, of someone that was strung out and put Jessica Lynn's face on there. Okay? Now, Jessica Lynn has made, she's made it clear that she's a recovering addict. And what he did is found somebody out of the country, right? Out of the country. Because I'm sure you can find pictures right here in the States of, you know, someone that's recovering or what, you know, someone that's strung out or whatever. But anyways, he ran with that and people believed it. And you know what? People want to twist it to fit their narrative. People believed it because I remember looking at some of that. And tried to say that, you know, after Granny went live and showed that it was a story about a woman, a survivor, or a recovering addict, and showed, you know, all the background and everything, and that he put her face on that picture, right? And he photoshopped it, did whatever he did. How do you think that makes someone that's in a, you know, a recovering addict, how that would make them feel? That this fake photo is on social media? Because once it's on social media, it's always out there, right? It's always out there. Just like, the revenge porn or the self-pleasuring video that, you give to people freely and then they spread around because they get mad at you. I don't agree with that either, but, don't put your junk out there. So that photo is going to be out there. He took it down, but it's going to be out there forever. What if our kids see that? I know some of y'all don't care about kids. You don't care about anybody's kids. Well, you do if you like the person, but if it's someone you don't like, you don't give a shit about their kids. But that photo is going to be, people have already took screenshots, I'm sure. And like I said, once it's on social media, it's on there forever. And so she had to show that, he lied about this or whatever. And he's like, it was a meme. Come on, guys. It was a meme. Memes have words. That was not a meme. He lied. Okay? He was trying to make it look like she sent him this picture that she had a relapse. And people were running with it. And then he did another beautiful Photoshop picture of an older Jessica Lynn. Okay, whatever with that one. But because we're all going to age, right? Who cares? But the one that he did of her strung out, which wasn't her, and then putting out the lies. And then Jessica Lynn came back with the picture of his fungus and everything else marked out. So you were around for that, okay? Should she have done it? No. And I said that. But, yeah, there's a but. What would I have done? What would you have done? I don't know. What would other people do if he is putting this crap out there as the truth and it's not? And then making everybody believe, oh, I was just joking. I got dark humor. That's not dark humor, okay? That's disgusting. And then he wishes her to unlive herself and actually how to do it. I guess that's dark humor too. I think I heard him say, well, all of us has wished that on somebody in our lives. We might have thought of that in the back of our heads or something, but do we say that out on social media? I don't think so. Or you shouldn't. But yes, there was clapback between her and him after the breakup. There's one thing to clap back. There's another to put out disgusting stuff like that. Now, that's who we sit with. We're not okay, and that's what I hear. We're not okay with what people say. So maybe, let's back it up. Maybe, just maybe, Noodle, that's why she was angry with Jamie. Maybe it had nothing to do with not getting the D or the deed done. We know what getting the deed done means. Maybe it didn't have to do with that as much as it had to do with talking about a picture that never existed and then having creators go on for months and months and months talking about my hoo-ha, okay? And how disgusting it is because of another creator saying I sent them a picture of it. Right? And then putting up a picture saying that I am using again when I'm a recovering addict. And that I'm using and I sent this picture of me strung out when it was a total lie. Maybe that's why she's angry at Lycan. Okay? Maybe that's why. Now, we're going to move past that. That is what upset me the most. And yes, I have noticed a difference. With Noodle, I still think the crafting is wonderful. I think she's very talented. That's my opinion. People can have a different opinion. I think that her crafting is great. I love her stuff. She is the one that said she was disappointed in me. I seen it in a comment. Why? Because I can call people out all the way around. I don't have to get those brownie points to grow my channel, to make that money. I don't have to go where people, to sit in a community. I don't have to belong to a community that is absolutely disgusting and vile, and say, oh, it's just shit talk, and, oh, well, as long as I don't say this stuff, then I'm all good. My morals haven't changed. If you're a bully, you're a bully. Okay? You don't actually have to bully somebody, but if you condone it, you're a part of the problem. That is just like having somebody, a friend, like I said, a friend. If your friend is bullying someone else right in front of you and beats them up and bullies them right in front of you, and you don't do nothing about it, you turn your head away, you look away, you're part of it. I'm sorry, you are. And I've called out all these other people that some people want to say that I'm sitting with. I don't sit with anybody. I do feel comfortable talking with some people in their chats. Right? And there's a lot of people that will come in my chats. Noodle was one. I'm still subbed to Noodle. But I don't feel comfortable going into Noodle's chat anymore. I used to, but I don't anymore. Because they are some certain people that I will not associate with at all because of how vile and nasty they got. And when you dig into people's personal life, when you make up, nasty lies about them, there's one thing to say something and then, you know what, that wasn't the truth. It might have been something you heard. I don't like to go by hearsay. I've said that before. But if it's something that you heard, or like I say, I said this before, creators make so many videos that you might not remember what you said. And people will call you a liar. And it's like, shit, I did say that. Then sometimes you might have to pull up those big girl panties or big boy boxers, and you might have to say, yeah, shit, I did say that. Right? Because sometimes we don't remember everything we said and did. But sometimes some people just downright lie about others to fit a narrative, to fit in, to gain a channel, or to gain, get that money going or whatever. And I'm sorry, but I feel like some people, in my opinion, some people are sitting with others that they would normally not do, or they went to a community. They might like them now, but they wouldn't have done that if it wasn't for a financial gain. They had to gain subs somewhere. There's nowhere to belong. They might have their own community and their own group, but they grew bigger since they went elsewhere, and they're getting more financial support. So they have to play along. They have to play along. They have to turn that blind eye when people are disgusting. Because never mind. I'm not even going to go any further. Then I found something bizarre. Something bizarre. She said that she was here first before Mrs. P. That's true, I think. And she wants to say that because, this whole thing that she followed Mrs. P here to bully her. I'm not buying that. I'm not. I think I don't know. She came here to make money. A lot of people do that. What is wrong with that? A lot of creators start a channel to make money, right? They want their channels to grow, and they do it to make money. But what I found was interesting that she said is she might have had a channel first, but Mrs. P was in this community first. That's a fact. And she said something, and I'm a little confused about this, and I did not do my homework. I should have, but I'm too busy. She said that somebody asked her, I think that's her mod, asked her to come here because Mrs. P was causing havoc in this drama circle, which makes no sense. Why bring someone that you know in real life, okay? And that, I don't know, maybe she could help or whatever. So she came over here, and if you listen to her first few videos or whatever, she was talking to Mrs. P like, hey, I know we haven't seen each other for a while, but I know you know me, and what you're doing is not okay. And she's even made comments that, you know, she didn't know who Natasha was, and she heard that she's causing havoc over in this community. Then later on, I think it might have been in recent videos, Noodle Mash is saying, and like I said, I need to do my homework on this. I really do. Because I might be saying things I shouldn't say without doing my homework. But I believe Noodle Mash is now saying that she was in contact with Mrs. Portland when she came over here, right? And that Mrs. P was telling her this Natasha person was giving her a hard time and harassing her. That's not the narrative that we have gotten for all these months, for almost a year. And from those first few videos, it does not sound like you were in contact with Mrs. Portland at all. And I don't think you ever said before that you were in contact with Mrs. Portland until after you came over to this community and after a first few videos, and you went over there to her community and said something and she got mad at you. Does that make any sense? But I believe on a video not too long ago done, Noodle Mash did say that Mrs. Portland said that she was being harassed. And the way that it sounded like that Mrs. Portland was talking to Noodle outside of YouTube before she came over here. I could be completely wrong about this. I would have to go back and listen, but you know, some people will go after it's kind of pointed out and maybe edit. Who knows? It's no big deal. It really isn't. If it was done, it was done. Don't know. But I see a change in Noodle. More a lot of people have seen a change. Okay. The change that I've seen is I don't see that much crafting anymore. I enjoyed the crafting. I see more of some meanness going on just the tone. I know some people have said my tone has changed a little bit. When I get passionate about something, my tone has changed, but her words has changed. And she gets so excited when liking comes in there, right? Just, I don't know. That's just my opinion. And now just a little touch on Gold Star Mom. And, you know, I never had an issue with Gold Star Mom. She was in here for the longest time, you know, making comments and stuff. And then there was that debacle issue or whatever with Granny and her. And I just gave my opinion that I did not think that when Granny called, and I won't say the thing, when Granny said gold and then the S, I didn't think that was that she was saying that as putting Gold Star Moms down. That sometimes when Granny talks, that's just the way it is. And that was just my opinion. And Gold Star Mom came in and made a comment, and we chit-chatted a little bit. And she said she still supported me and I still supported her. And it was all good. No big deal. And then I heard her over, I don't even know, I did a little video on somebody's panel, and I can't even remember who anymore. And she's like, well, I don't support Stargazer anymore. I don't watch her anymore. I don't support her anymore. I'm like, okay. We just, thought we were good. I was not nasty at all. I just said that I did not think that, in my opinion, that was a put down because you're a Gold Star Mom. No one should ever put down Gold Star Moms. Ever. Okay? And I explained that I'm from a military family. But anyways, then I noticed that she blocked me. Now, Gold Star Mom used to, when she would make comments, she would call us soul sisters. Because she would say that our morals were like spot on, almost identical, right? The way that we thought, the way that we did not approve or did not condone, no matter who it is, of different things. No matter if we liked somebody or didn't like them or whatever, we were not okay with certain things being said or done, no matter who it is. And that we were soul sisters. Absolutely, did she say that? And then she showed some screenshots of somebody saying something or whatever, and I noticed that one of them was a comment that was left in my comment section. But it was like 3 months or a couple of months or something like that prior. And it's like I went over there to comment to say, hey, why didn't you say something to me? And I would have found that and taken it down, because I don't, and I explained, I don't go look at my comments after a few days. Normally after a day. I don't, I try to respond back, but after a couple of days, I don't go back and look at comments. And if she would have, it had to do with her son, and it was disgusting. So I asked her, I went over to ask, why didn't you let me know? Because you were just in my chat and we just had a good conversation. So why didn't you let me know? And I would have went and hunted that down and I would have deleted it. And then I noticed that I couldn't send a message. And then when I would look, I couldn't see her commenting on her channel. When people would leave comments, I would see that I couldn't see her comments, so she blocked me. Now I think I can see her now, so she's unblocked me. And I'm like, are you kidding me? Seriously. When did your morals change, Gold Star Mom? Because mine didn't. Mine didn't change. Or is it where you're sitting at? Because you belong to a community now. Right? You belong to a different community. I don't belong to a community. But I talk to certain people. I would be in your channel talking to you because I have no problem. I don't have problem with a lot of people in a lot of different communities. I don't have a beef in this war that you guys all have. There are certain people, though, that know because of some of the things they put out there. Again, how can you be okay with some of the things that were done? If our morals are the same, I'm sorry. No, they're not. Because I would not be okay with somebody wishing a pregnant mother to split to splat. Or wishing gestational diabetes on them. Or wishing a baby didn't exist. I would not be okay with taking jabs at someone's child that's in college that's threatening to mess up their career. I would not be okay with wishing someone unalive themselves and wish they were mangled in a car wreck. I would not be okay on making fun of SA victims or our victims, or just like with Sally Ann. This whole thing with Sally Ann, I think Sally Ann is now over in that community. And I am like, this is the freaking Twilight Zone. Not that long ago, right? I did a video on it. We seen Sally Ann have this breakdown, right? And we seen Lycan over there when he knew that she was his trigger. And instead of just saying, you know what, I'm staying away, she's upset, she is under the influence. A lot of times when you're under the influence, you can't give consent, right? Sometimes that's the law. You can't give consent. And sometimes you do some foolish things while you're under the influence. She could have very well have done something foolish that night or that day. I forgot which it was. But knowing that he was her trigger, what did he do? He had to go up on her panel. Now, she was under the influence. So she let him up. He's like, well, she let me up. Yeah, she probably wasn't in the right frame of mind. Why didn't you stay away? But he kept pushing and pushing and pushing. So now he uses that phrase, and he's even got merch that says, push me, Lycan. So a lot of people went out on the limb for Sally Ann and said this was not right. Especially someone that has stated they have mental health issues. Someone that has stated she has alcohol issues and she was under the influence. This is not right. You should have stayed away, Lycan, okay? You shouldn't have went up there. She was clearly agitated and under the influence. But see, Lycan has put out there that he likes to trigger people. He's already put it out there. So you guys are okay with that, right? You're okay with that. I'm sorry, that goes against my morals. If somebody is under the influence, I'm not going to try to push them. If somebody is hurting and in pain, and even if we think that they're wanting attention, right? We go back to what I said before, you never know. If I know that I'm their trigger, I'm going to stay away. But not Lycan. We're okay with that though, right? Right? Because we're part of their community now. That's where we're different, okay? We're different. Absolutely different. Because, see, I'm not okay with that. I get that we are all responsible for our own mental health. We are. But I do know, and I do get that some people do have triggers, and some people don't have that tough skin, and some people are not strong. They might not have that support. Some people don't know how to log off when they should. You should absolutely log off. If you're having issues, log off. Some people don't know how. So no, we definitely aren't soul sisters. I mean, like I said, I'll be 53. I have grown children. I taught my kids morals, okay? I didn't teach them to bully anybody. And, you know, there's a fine line, like I said, between clapback and just being a damn bully. And a lot of people, they don't give a shit as long as they can grow their channel. And some of them have even put out there, Lycan has put out there, just like the N-word. He says that it was a business move. It was a business move not to be saying it over in this community because a lot of people get upset about it, right? It's just a word. It's just words. He realizes it offends some people. You know, I have a mixed family. And it absolutely offends some people. And he made a business decision because that word freely runs off his lips. Because he doesn't think that it means anything. There's worse things that you know, can be said. I've said this before. Let him go up to someone and call them that and see, out on the streets and see what happens to him. See if it's only just a word to them or much more. Now, I don't believe in violence either, but some people are sick of racism and they're sick of being called these words. He absolutely said he made a business decision. Not that, oh, you know what? I should never have said, that's a word I shouldn't be saying. I had a moment. I grew up, I'm almost 40. I grew up finally and decided that, no, I don't believe that. I believe that word freely runs off his lips. But with Gold Star Mom, I still really don't have too much of an issue. But again, things get twisted. She said only 2 people. Well, let me back up. I am shocked to see Sally Ann over with the same people that caused her all these issues. So many people went to bat for her. For what? For what? We still did what was right, in my opinion. You don't push somebody like that. When they're under the influence, when they're having a mental break, you stay away. But hey, you're okay with this merch, push me liking, okay? You're okay with that. You guys are all okay with what went down, right? Because he twisted it and made it into something it wasn't. We know what it was. It was a woman in distress, no matter how you want to look at it. No matter if she was seeking attention. Now she might be saying, I don't know what she's saying. She might have had falling outs with some other people, and she has nowhere else to go either. Except to Likens. People need that. They got to belong somewhere in these YouTube streets. I'll never understand that, but okay. But the thing is, she was at her lowest point, or at a low point, and she's sitting with the people that put her there, that helped put her there, that kept doing videos making fun of her, and now they got merch out. Okay then, all right, okay. If you're all okay with that, then that's where your moral ground stands. So moving back on to Gold Star Mom. I only watched a little bit of the live last night, and then I was watching a series. Decided to log off and watch a series. But anyways, what I heard was... so people were making fun of... because I guess she did her stomach's growling, saying it's time to get off of this video, go get some lunch, and I won't be uploading this video. It might even be tomorrow when I upload it. But I guess the words were shamming instead of shaming, okay? So she wants to play it off that, and who knows? She said that I did everything for a reason. So a lot of people already called this out and said that she would say this. That she actually put shamming instead of shaming on purpose. But if you did it on purpose, then why would you go ahead and not leave your... It wasn't thumbnail, it was a title. Why would you not just go ahead and leave the title at shamming instead of changing it to shaming? That makes no sense. Again, if it makes no sense, it's normally not true. And then she goes on, I'm an intelligent woman. I know how to spell. I guess people were calling it out because, come on, guys, to call out misspelled words, seriously. But she said I do everything for a reason. There's always something behind my madness. In my opinion, that's just my opinion, she misspelled it, okay? And then she changed it, and I think, I don't know, I don't listen to much of her stuff. I just haven't had time to really listen to a lot of people's stuff. But she said that, I'm guessing that she might be saying things about other, being intelligent and about other people's not being so intelligent. I don't know. But here's the thing, okay? Who cares? Because she was going on and, I know how to spell and yada, 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 yada. I know how to speak, whatever. I misspell things all the time. All right? I went to college. All right? My job, a lot of you guys would not be able to do my job. Me going to college doesn't mean I'm any smarter than anybody else. It just means that what I'm trained to do, a lot of you wouldn't be able to do it. But there's a lot of you out there that do things that you were trained to do, I wouldn't be able to do. That's it. But when it comes to spelling, there's a lot of times I misspell things, and I don't go back and change it. I really don't care. Okay? I really don't care. And I said many times, I'm on Topamax, so I lose my train of thought. Words don't come out right. I say a lot. I just did it again. I just don't catch it. I don't care. The way I talk now is not how I used to talk before I got on the Topamax. I'm not going to sit here, excuse me, and say, oh, I'm so much smarter than everybody else because I'm such an intelligent person. And, I'm this great businesswoman because, I'm doing this, eBay thing. And I told you guys, it's really taken off. But I have a regular job, too. And the eBay thing's just, a hobby. But it's really booming now. But the thing is I consider myself highly intelligent as well, but I misspell words. I do. It is what it is. There's no shame in that game either. It happens. But anyways, moving on. I don't know if it's because she has made fun of other people, why people were clipping that or doing screenshots of that or not. I don't know. But one thing that I wanted to point out, she was talking about her last name, okay? And that only 2 people knew her last name, and that was Sally Ann and CJ. And that it was all out there and yada, yada, yada. And I'm thinking to myself, here's another truth or a lie that is twisted for a narrative. Because we all remember, right? We all remember when she donated to Mrs. P, and it was like a PayPal or whatever, and Mrs. P, when she was in Natasha's community, I got something to send you, I guess at that time, I remember it. Y'all remember it too, right? It was told, it was said, that Mrs. P gave Natasha the information that had Gold Star's mom's name. Because I think it was a PayPal or whatever when she done the donation. So that her name was out there. She also put up the services for her child. Her name was out there. Now, here's the thing. People need to leave people alone, whether their name is out there or not. But don't lie on people. Don't lie and twist it to fit your narrative. We all remember when that went down with Mrs. P and Natasha. I don't think Natasha ever said the name, but we remember that. Absolutely. So there was more than the 2 that had the name. Nobody, no matter if your name is out there or not, should be digging or trying to look up people's stuff or anything like that. Just stop the ugliness, but also stop the lies on other people. Now, she was also talking, I don't know what this is. I didn't see it. Something disgusting, a video about Lycan that CJ put out. I think somebody else made the video and CJ showed it. It was taken down. They said it was disgusting. I don't know what it was about. I didn't see it. They kind of said a few things about it. If that's the case, that's disgusting. Okay? Absolutely disgusting. You guys are just, I don't know, I don't know what that was all about. I have no clue. All right? There's some things I don't know because, again, I'm not on here 24/7. You guys go at, here's the thing, you go at some people hardcore constantly, constantly, constantly. And then if somebody finds a video on you that someone else might have made, they're going to play it. Do I agree with with them doing stuff like that? No, I don't. Okay? I don't know what it all was about. I heard a few key words and I'm like, that's gross. I would not condone that. Now, just like there's a person that doxed Lycan, his address. Now, I called it out. All right, I did. The same person came back not too long ago and made a comment in my comment section. I don't even know what the comment said, but I noticed the name and I deleted that comment because that person doxed Lycan. I seen Lycan put it up where he redacted his address. That same person did that. So when I seen that person make a comment in my comment section, I didn't even read the comment. I just deleted them. Or deleted the comment. Because I don't believe in doxing. I don't care who you are. Now, one thing I wanted to touch base back on, I kind of got really sidetracked, and I do that a lot, and then I am going to end it. This is a very long video. Noodle Mash was going on about loofah. I said I was going to cover that. Loofah's been making a community post on Noodle Mash. I don't agree with it. But Noodle Mash, she did that to Granny too. And I said something about that when loofah sets her sights on you, okay, it's kind of like an obsession. She's been doing this to Granny for a long time. But, we don't like Granny, so we're not going to call it out. We're not going to say anything, right? We're not. Because we don't like her. She was talking about her warts. You know why she does that? Because of what Lycan said and did. Right? The lies that he put out. Right? She was on an obsession with Granny about her hoo-ha. Because of what Lycan did. And I'm sure you've seen, if you're seeing all of her community posts now, I'm sure you've seen all these community posts she was doing on Granny. But see, that's okay, right? That's okay, because it wasn't about you or about someone you care about. It was someone else. That's what loofah did with Granny. Kind of like what she was doing to you, but she was even going lower. It's not okay. It's not okay for anybody. And I even said that loofah had an obsession with Granny. Now her obsession has turned to you. Doesn't feel very good. It's not nice. I don't condone it. I'm calling it out. It's nasty. But she was going after Granny's hoo-ha. Constantly. So I am calling it out. It's obsession, obsessive behavior. Now we have the DeLorean that's also calling out women's hoo-has that sits over with you guys. Their lady bits. Talking about, their vag. That's who we sit with. That's who we sit with. That's who, hello, good to see ya. Nice to see ya. Hi, friend. Hearts. Hearts, love. Like I said, we are the company we keep. And we know, I'm sorry, you know what people are putting out because all you guys are all together. And we can't keep saying, well, I'm not okay with everything. I get it if it happens once in a while. Some people will get ugly once in a while. We can excuse a few things. I think we're adults. And we're going to make mistakes, and we can, excuse a few things. There are certain things, I'm sorry, you just can't excuse. You can't. And there's just certain people, I'm sorry, I would never, ever sit with, be friends with. If I wouldn't in real life put up with this behavior, I wouldn't do it on social media. So with that, I'm going to go. That's about all I got to say. I have no idea when to do a video again. This is, I think, going to be the longest I ever did. Um, I will do community post, but, maybe after Christmas, I don't know. I wanted to do some cooking videos, I wanted to do that before Thanksgiving, but I just didn't get a chance. We'll just see. We'll see how busy it gets or not busy or whatever. But everyone have a great day, and we'll talk to you again.